Hello everybody, welcome back. This is going to be an interesting video. I am barefaced. We're gonna do my skincare today. The skincare is not really the point of this video. I of course will link everything below. I'm not really gonna talk about it too much. But the point of this video is just, I always find it more fun and useful to have a video where someone's doing something with their hands versus just sitting talking to the screen or camera. So that's why I'm doing my skincare, but other than that, there's not really a point to it. You've probably seen my routine quite a bit lately, so nothing has changed for the most part. But the reason, I also have a cold, so that may affect how, skincare and whatnot. But the main reason I wanted to film this video is because I've had it on my mind a lot. I've taken a lot of notes from just like me thinking through things, and people have asked over on Instagram to share more of my pregnancy, and I was hesitant at first, and I think partially because I don't want to be like defined by a pregnancy or motherhood, but I also understand that it's a big part of many women's lives, and we probably all feel similar ways, so it's like, I have an audience, why not talk about it? I also need help, I don't have it figured out, so here we are. I apologize again if I sound sniffly and stuffed up. I am. That's the fun part about having a cold. You get to sound like this. Anyway, let's get going. So at first I thought I was gonna talk about kind of like overall how I've been feeling first trimester. I'm now in the second trimester. I'm almost 16 weeks pregnant. I will be tomorrow. But I think I'm gonna focus a little bit more on the mental health aspect of your body changing and being a woman. And this may not apply for everybody. So, if it doesn't apply to you, feel free to skip ahead and just don't listen. But I think I could do maybe I'll do a video toward the end of like how I felt each trimester, how that has kind of like shaped my pregnancy. But I think like I said before, I think for the sake of this video, we're really gonna talk more about the struggles and challenges that I've been going through. And it's like, in my head, it's like pregnancy, Instagram versus reality. So that's what we're doing. If you are not already subscribed, I'm already like into my skincare, and I'm like, I haven't even done the intro. But if you're not already subscribed, go ahead, do so below. Welcome, we'd love to have you here, and let's get into it. As you can see, I'm still doing my split face comparison of 2 dark spot serums, and I feel like I'll be winding down with those soon, and I don't really have thoughts. That's the sad part. I'm like, I don't know, I could go either way. But I am trying the ROCHE-POSAY Mela B3. This is my second or third bottle, and then this is my first bottle of the EADEM Milk Marvel Dark Spot Serum. And I do the same side each time. So I think the idea of this video really comes down to, for me, what I have kind of been harping on, and that it started off with just being like, oh, I wonder when I'm gonna start showing. I wonder what my bump's gonna look like. I wonder blah, blah, blah. My husband was like, why are you so obsessed with this, like your bump and everything? And he's frustrated, but like in a like playful way. He knows it's not that big of a deal. But it really got me to thinking, and like, what is this about me or my experiences that like really have me focused on when I'm gonna start showing, what my bump's gonna look like? And honestly, it didn't take too long to figure it out. It comes down to body image, weight, self-worth, I guess, being tied to what your body looks like. And I say your body, but I'm obviously talking about my body. But I think it applies to a lot of women. And this is definitely not a new topic for me, but it is new in the form of being pregnant. Before now, of course, I had a lot of control over what my body looked like. Obviously not 100% because you're given the genes that you get. Like, you don't get to choose if you're tall or short or whatever, or where you carry weight or where you don't carry weight, or if you struggle to put on muscle, blah, blah, blah. But in pregnancy, it kind of goes out the window in a sense, because I'm not going to starve myself. Not that I ever did. I wouldn't say I had an eating disorder ever. Like, what we think of as a stereotypical eating disorder like anorexia or bulimia. But I definitely have, I don't know what it's called, and maybe you guys can help me, but like food, weight issues. And I've had them for as long as I can remember. I remember being the tall one always in school. And with that, I wasn't the tall, skinny one. I was just like muscular. Like I played sports, I was active, I ate what I wanted, but I wasn't like stick skinny, which I know a lot of women or people out there that are super tall and super skinny, and they have kind of their issues with that and like being called skinny and all that. So it goes each way. But I was always like, I don't know, I was like, what if my mom calls it something? She's like, I'm a peasant type. Like, she's like, I have peasant blood, which is probably true. It's not like we're from royalty or anything. But I think what she means by that is like, she's hardy. She has a butt. She has boobs. She, you know, and it's a perfectly fine thing to be. And I'm not trying to like assign any value to either being skinny, fat, anything. It's just what you kind of grow up with and how it shapes the way that you look at yourself and the way that you look at the world and food and exercise. And there was definitely a period of time where I was overweight. I went after college. Well, I gained weight in college, mainly because of drinking and partying and just eating, you know, like garbage. But I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I went into the Peace Corps, and then I had lost a little bit of weight actually before I joined the Peace Corps. I think I was home for a year working after college, and I lost some of the college weight. And then I went into the Peace Corps, and it's really the drinking. The drinking obviously is just not great for your health in general, but you tend to then like binge eat at the night of drinking or the morning after, and you're just overall unhealthy, probably not working out as much, not making good choices. So I gained weight back in the Peace Corps, and then I came home and I lived in Colorado. Colorado is a very active state, so I feel like I lost a lot of weight. Then I came home, and it's like, I mean, I'm not gonna go through my entire decades of living, but the whole point is it's gone like this. And since I basically was an adult, so I would say like college and even high school, but like mainly college and on, it's been a part of my daily mindset and thinking. And that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, because it means that I do care what I look like, and I do care what goes into my body, and I try to eat healthy and I try to work out. Well, I do. But when things kind of are a little bit more chaotic in life, like during a pregnancy, it can really mess with you, because what it has done to me is the first trimester, I felt pretty terrible from 6 weeks to the end of the first trimester. And so I was eating literally what I could, because I couldn't stomach anything. I couldn't stand the smell of most things. And I was just eating. And it wasn't, I don't think I gained a lot of weight, but the second I kind of, and this is like really a matter of a month or so, the second I started feeling better, I started just feeling like I could eat a little bit more and be, you know, cook again and do stuff like that again. But I also started to notice changes in my body, and those were really, really hard. I also, and this is gonna be a little scattered, so I apologize. I'll try to get to all my points, but in my head, as I knew I was progressing through the pregnancy, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have this cute little bump. It's just gonna be, my body stays the same, I grow a little bump. You see that because of celebrities. I have a lot of friends who are like that, and it's not like their fault or anything. But in my head, that's what I thought would happen to me. Also, most of those celebrities, most of my friends, all of my friends had singleton pregnancies, one baby. I have twins. So it's gonna look different. My body is different than theirs. And I think I was kind of judging what I should look like, based off of all these other circumstances, which really didn't relate to my own pregnancy. So when I started to, I still don't think I'm showing, but when I started to like fill out, it didn't look like what I expected it to look. And that was really hard for me. And it's funny because I wouldn't say that I'm like that in almost any other part of my life. Like, I never had some expectation of what my wedding would look like. I didn't have an expectation of the perfect marriage and husband. Like, I just knew that whatever happened and whatever came to my life, that would be. And so like, you would think I would be the same way with my body and my body image in pregnancy, but it just feels so different. Something that I feel like I have a lot less control, which obviously is a big topic I talk about with my therapist. That's always present in my life. I do like to have control. So that comes up again and again, and especially here. And then of course I go to my doctor's visits, and the first thing they do when they get you back there is they weigh you. And I know that I've heard kind of stories of women who not pregnant, but like maybe are overweight or, you know, have weight related, and I'm trying to be sensitive. So like if I say the wrong thing, it's not me being mean. I'm just like speaking off the cuff. But like that process of being weighed can be very triggering. For me, I had worked so hard the last few years. I would say like the last, I don't know, 4 years or so, or even more, but I'd gotten to a weight that I felt really comfortable at. I felt really comfortable in my body. I felt just overall good. And of course, good or bad, it can be tied to the number on the scale. I don't weigh myself. Like, that's one of the things that is the most triggering to me, because I will see a number on the scale and I'll see it go up by like 3 pounds. And I know I had pizza last night, or I drank and, you know, it's water weight. But in my head, I can't get past the number, which I know it's just a number. It doesn't reflect who I am. Like, I know all these things, but that's why I stopped weighing myself. So I prefer to go off of like what I look like in pictures, how I feel. That's the most important. Am I able to work out? Am I able to feel good in my body? Are clothes fitting? But now that I'm having to be weighed pretty much every month, and it'll get more frequent as I get further along, last time I turned away. I was like, I can't look at the number. You know, if you need to measure me or weigh me or whatever, that's fine, but I don't want to know it. It doesn't help me. It really just sets me off. So I did that. And then I went on to look at my notes after the appointment, and I ended up seeing the weight. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. I think I had gained 1 pound in like 4 months, but I had gained quite a bit before that. So the point is, weight is a trigger for me, and it shouldn't be. I know all the reasons. People can tell me your self-worth is not tied to it, but that is a really hard thing to divorce from your thinking if you've thought that way for a long time. I mean, somebody made a good point on Instagram, like, millennials, we were raised in the era of people commenting and judging women solely by their bodies. And of course, those were celebrities, not us, but like, it infiltrated our thoughts and our minds and how we think. And then a lot of us are parents, typically our mothers, and like by no fault of their own. But I know in my household, my mom was constantly thinking about her weight. She did Weight Watchers. She was a leader at Weight Watchers. It was just omnipresent growing up. And as a woman, it affected me a lot. Like, my dad and my brother were fine, but I think it really became something that I thought I had to think about and be concerned about, which you do and you don't. But so that's why I think weight is such a hard and tricky subject. And obviously I'm just talking about it within the terms of pregnancy, but that's kind of like a little bit of it for me. The last thing, and I realize I've gotten through all my skincare, and here's the thing, I'm not gonna put sunscreen on today, guys. Why is that, you ask? Because I'm going to get a hydrofacial in a few hours, and she's just gonna take all of this off. So I was like, should I even bother? But you know, it'll sit on my face for a while. But for sunscreen, I'll wear a hat. I'm gonna be out in the sun for like 5 minutes, it'll be fine. But what I was going to say, the last thing is, I wanted to tell you a story about when I went just this past week to get my ultrasound done. And of course, I ask everyone, like, when is it normal to see a bump? Blah, blah, blah. I'm obsessed with the bump. We've already talked about good or bad. Like, there's a lot tied to it for me. But I asked the ultrasound tech, I was like, I'm not really showing, like, is that normal? And I think also what people forget, my husband especially, is that for me, seeing a bump, it's not just about my weight and appearance. It's also tied deeply to fertility. I want to see a visual sign that my pregnancy is progressing. Obviously the ultrasound showed that it was, and I haven't had any scares recently with bleeding or whatnot, but it's correlated. Like, I've gone through a lot of fertility issues, so I want to see this normal progression of a healthy pregnancy. But anyway, so we're there, I'm asking that, and she was like, oh, you know, because you're petite, you like have a petite build that you may not show until like a little bit later. And I was like, what? Petite? No one has ever called me petite. I mean, I'm not petite. That was very kind of her. And, or you can say like, she shouldn't have said anything about body type, but whatever. In my head, I was just like, go on, tell me more. Like, it was just, it made me happy. And I know people are gonna be like, you shouldn't care about what people think about your body type, but whatever. We're like, let's be honest. We still kind of care, right? So she said that. And then I was just like, okay, thank you for making my day, first off. But secondly, I was like, in my head, I'm like, that doesn't actually make sense. I feel like if you're petite and you have a smaller frame, wouldn't you run out of room sooner and show sooner? But anyway, what it kind of got me to thinking about is that the way I see myself is so different than how other people see me. I look at my face, I look at my body constantly, not like checking myself out always, but that's what's in front of me in the mirror every day. When I go to like the bathroom, there's the mirror there. When I walk out, there's a mirror there. And I'm not gonna get rid of all the mirrors in my house, but I see the flaws, I see the imperfections, whereas others don't see that. And they have a very different view on who you are and what you look like. So it really just reminded me to try to like take a step back. Remember that the goal of all of this is two healthy babies, and it's temporary. These are hard things. Like, I tell myself this all the time, but it doesn't negate the fact that I still feel a certain way. So I guess what I'm trying to say to other people is that you can feel two things at the same time. Like, you can feel, I'm gaining weight, I don't like that. And then you can feel guilty that you feel that way because you know that it means that you're having a healthy pregnancy and things are going well. And those two things can live. Where the struggle is like how you kind of let them live together without like one dominating the other. And there's not an answer. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. And if they say they know, then I don't know. They're crazy and perfect, and how could you be like that? But for me, it's just so much about like trying to let both parts of my being, and maybe there are 3 parts or 4 parts, I don't know, there's a lot going on in my head, but let them all have their day. And like this morning, I was texting my friends and they said like, oh, let me see, like, because I said, I feel like pretty normal in the morning. And then after lunch usually and dinner, like from lunch to dinner, like I just expand. Like I feel that very big and bloated, but it's not necessarily like a bump. And they're like, let's see a before and after. And I was like, honestly, I don't think I could show you guys, like 2 of my closest friends. And they understood. But then I also broke down crying by myself on the couch this morning. So it's like, you just have to like, let it all happen. And eventually you may not work it out, but you will work through this time. And, you know, I'm excited, to have my boys. I have, it's 2 boy babies, but I'm also excited to kind of reclaim my body one day. And I know that's a big part of a lot of women and their pregnancies. Like, they don't feel like it's their body even after the pregnancy for years. So to me, it's scary, but it's also a challenge, and I really like challenges. So I want to be healthy for my kids. I want to be healthy for myself. And I want to also feel like myself. And a big part of me feeling like myself is feeling strong, athletic, and in control. And you can judge that all you want, but like, that's how I feel best. So I'm letting things happen as they can, and I'm trying to make good choices, but I just want to like get it out there because it's such a hard thing. And I feel like so many people don't talk about it, which is understandable. It's very, very hard, but I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Like if you struggled with this, if you're not having a baby or never can or will or whatever, if you're a man, like just there's so much to body image. And I don't think it applies only to pregnancies. So it's definitely a topic that I obviously have talked for like over 20 minutes and I feel like I'm rambling, but I would love to hear what you guys all think and love to hear if you are interested in more types of videos like this. I know it was a very short skincare routine, so sorry about that, but maybe I'll do it next time getting ready with makeup and whatnot. But yeah, also, if you're still watching, if you want to learn about the hydrofacial, maybe I'll film it or maybe I'll get another and we'll like film that because I've never had it and it seems so cool. So anyway, I feel like I should spin in my chair. Let's try that. All right, guys, that's it for today. I actually feel so much better now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.